Hey everyone, welcome to the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm Amma, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful update, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. Brooke Logan, seated front row with tears glistening like diamonds on her lashes, clutched Ridge Forrester's hand, whispering, "That's my girl, Ridge. She's unbreakable." Ridge nodded, his blue eyes softening in that rare way they did for family, murmuring back, "She's got your fire, Brooke. Always has." But Hope barely registered them. Her mind was a whirlwind of fragmented memories. Liam's touch on a rainy afternoon in Italy, the way his laughter had once chased away the shadows of loss, and the sting of their separations, each one a fresh wound that time refused to fully heal. As the final turn brought her to the end of the runway, Hope paused, one hand trailing the banister, her gaze sweeping the sea of faces, designers, influencers, the elite of Los Angeles fashion who had come to witness the resurrection of her line. Flashbulbs popped like distant fireworks, capturing the moment for eternity, but it was the man in the third row, standing now with a quiet intensity that cut through the chaos, who held her captive. Liam Spencer, his suit impeccably tailored but his expression raw, unguarded, the way it always was when he looked at her. Their eyes locked, and in that suspended breath, the world narrowed to just the two of them. The music swelled to its crescendo, and Hope felt a surge of something electric, triumphant, as if this gown, this show, this very instant was the culmination of every battle she'd fought to reclaim her place. She struck the pose, chin lifted, shoulders back, a queen surveying her kingdom, and the applause thundered, shaking the chandeliers overhead. Deke appeared beside her then, the young designer beaming with the pride of a co-conspirator, his arm brushing hers in silent congratulations. "You owned it, Hope," he said softly, just for her ears, his voice laced with that New York edge that had injected fresh life into her vision. "This is your moment." She smiled, genuine and radiant, turning to face the crowd, her free hand waving in acknowledgement as confetti rained down like celebratory snow. Backstage erupted into a frenzy the second the house lights dimmed and the models scattered like leaves in a gale. Hope kicked off her heels the moment she crossed the threshold, the cool concrete a balm against her aching feet, and collapsed into a folding chair amid a tangle of garment bags and makeup kits. Forrester strode in moments later, her blonde hair still perfect despite the humidity of the spotlights, a tablet clutched in one hand and a bottle of chilled champagne in the other. "Hope, that was phenomenal," Steffi declared, popping the cork with a flourish that sent foam spilling over her fingers. She thrust a flute into Hope's hand, her tone warm but laced with that competitive undercurrent that defined their fragile truce. "Deke's got magic in those sketches. Admit it, you needed that edge." Hope took a sip, the bubbles tickling her throat like forbidden secrets, and laughed lightly. "I won't deny it. But don't get too smug, Steffi. This line's back because I fought for it, not because of your family's charity." Steffi rolled her eyes, settling onto the arm of the chair, her designer pantsuit a stark contrast to Hope's disheveled gown. "Charity? Please." "Ridge saw the potential because you're a Logan, stubborn as hell. But seriously, sis-in-law or not, you slayed out there. Even Finn texted me mid-show. Tell Hope she's unstoppable." Hope's smile faltered just a fraction at the mention of family ties that twisted like vines around her heart. "Thanks, Steffi. Means a lot coming from you." They clinked glasses, the sound of fragile bridge over the chasm of their shared history, rivalries over designs, men, and the very soul of Forrester creations. The after-party spilled into the adjacent ballroom, transformed into a glittering oasis of velvet drapes and crystal decanters, where the air hummed with laughter and the clink of ice and highballs. Hope had changed into a sleek black sheath that hugged her curves without apology, her hair tumbling loose from its updo, framing her face in soft waves. She navigated the crowd with practiced ease, accepting compliments like a monarch granting audiences. "Ms. Logan, that gown was revolutionary," from a wide-eyed intern. "Hope, darling, You're the heartbeat of this industry, from a silver-haired editor who'd once dismissed her as Brooke's shadow. But her thoughts kept drifting to Liam, who had vanished into the throng after the show, his presence a ghost that tugged at her sleeve. Carter Walton caught her arm then, his touch gentle but possessive, the lawyer's charm undimmed by the scandals that had nearly unraveled them both. "You were breathtaking," he said, his voice low and sincere, dark eyes searching hers for the forgiveness he'd earned through quiet persistence. "Seeing you up there, it reminded me why I fell for you. Strength wrapped in grace." Hope squeezed his hand, grateful for the steadiness he offered amid the storm of her emotions. "Carter, stop. You're making me blush in front of all these vultures." He chuckled, pulling her closer for a sway to the jazz quartet's melody. "Let them stare. You're mine tonight." But even as she leaned into him, the scent of his cologne familiar and comforting, Hope's gaze snagged on Liam across the room, deep in conversation with Ridge, his posture tense, hands gesturing with that earnest passion she knew too well. Ridge Forrester, ever the patriarch, clapped Liam on the shoulder with a booming laugh that cut through the din. "Son, you look like a man with something on his mind. Spill it, before Brooke drags me into another debate about the next collection." Liam forced a grin, but his eyes betrayed the churning sea beneath. "Just proud of Hope, Dad. That show? It was her phoenix moment. After everything, Thomas, the boardroom battles, she deserved that roar from the crowd." Ridge's expression sobered, his hand lingering as if to anchor his stepson.
"She did.
Logans have a way of rising, don't they? Like your mother." He glanced toward Brooke, who was holding court with a cluster of admirers, her laughter a melody that still enchanted him after all these years. "But you've been circling her like a hawk since the divorce papers dried. What's the play here, Liam? Carter's a good man, but if you're not all in..." Liam swallowed hard, the weight of unspoken regrets pressing on his chest. "I'm done playing games, Ridge. Beth needs us whole. Hell, I need us whole. Tonight's the night I fix what I broke." Ridge studied him, the lines around his eyes deepening with a mix of caution and hope. "Then do it right. No half measures. Spencers don't do regrets." With a nod that sealed an unspoken pact, Ridge melted back into the crowd, leaving Liam alone with the thunder of his pulse. Beth Spencer tugged at Hope's dress hem as she knelt to scoop her up, the little girl's curls bouncing like springs under the ballroom's soft glow. "Mommy, you were a princess on the big stage. Did the sparkly dress make you fly?" Hope's heart swelled, burying her face in Beth's neck to hide the sudden sting of tears. "Almost, baby. It made me feel like I could conquer the world." Liam appeared then, materializing from the shadows like a memory given form, his smile for Beth warm and unfiltered. "Hey, kiddo. You steal any hearts tonight besides your mom's?" Beth giggled, wrapping her arms around his neck as he lifted her effortlessly. "Daddy, you missed the best part. Mommy's dress had stars on it." Liam's eyes met Hope's over their daughter's head, a silent current passing between them, charged with the ghosts of promises kept and broken. "I saw enough to know it was magic," he said softly, his voice for Hope alone. Carter hovered nearby, flute in hand, his easy smile not quite masking the flicker of unease. "Family moment?" he asked, stepping forward to ruffle Beth's hair. "Wouldn't miss it," Liam replied, the words polite but edged with steel. Hope felt the tension coil like a spring, excusing herself with a murmur about fresh air, Beth still perched on Liam's hip as they wandered toward the terrace doors. Outside, the Los Angeles night wrapped around them like a velvet cloak, the city lights twinkling below like a carpet of fallen stars. Hope leaned against the balustrade, the cool breeze teasing strands of hair across her cheek, while Liam set Beth down to chase fireflies, or what passed for them in the urban glow, her laughter pealing like silver bells. "She's got your spirit, Hope," Liam said, joining her, his shoulder brushing hers in that accidental-on-purpose way that sent sparks skittering along her skin. "Fearless. Beautiful." Hope turned to him, her blue eyes searching his face, illuminated by the moon's pale sheen. "Liam, don't. Not tonight. The show's over. Let's not turn it into another act." He exhaled, running a hand through his dark hair, tousled now from Beth's playful tugs. That's just it. I'm done acting. I've spent years chasing shadows, bouncing between you and Steffi like some indecisive fool. But seeing you up there, commanding that runway, owning every eye in the room, it hit me. You're the showstopper in my life, Hope. Always have been. She shook her head, a sad smile curving her lips. We tried that dance before.
Twice.
What makes this different? Liam stepped closer, his hand capturing hers, thumb tracing the spot where Carter's ring had once sat. Everything. Beth's proof of us. The way you fought for your line, for our daughter, for second chances. It's the woman I fell for all over again. No more maybes. Beth scampered back then, breathless and glowing, tugging at their hands. Mommy, Daddy, dance. Like in the stories. Hope laughed despite herself, allowing Liam to pull her into a slow sway under the stars, Beth twirling between them like a tiny comet. The music drifted out from the ballroom, a haunting violin solo that wove through the night air, and for a moment, it was just them, a family pieced back together from shards. Carter watched from the doorway, his silhouette framed in light, a pang of loss twisting in his gut. Steffi sidled up beside him, champagne flute dangling from her fingers. Tough crowd in there, she quipped, following his gaze. Liam's making his move, isn't he? Carter sighed, the lawyer's composure cracking just a hair. He's family. But Hope, she deserves the certainty I can give her. Steffi tilted her head, her expression softening with uncharacteristic empathy. Certainty's overrated sometimes. Forrester blood runs hot. It's chaos or nothing. Carter nodded, but his eyes lingered on Hope, the woman who'd slipped through his fingers like sand. As the song faded, Liam dropped to one knee, the motion fluid and deliberate, Beth clapping in delighted confusion beside him. Hope froze, her breath catching as he pulled a small velvet box from his pocket, the diamond within catching the moonlight in a blaze of fire. Hope Logan, he began, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. You've been my anchor, my storm, my everything. I screwed up, chose wrong, walked away when I should have fought. But tonight, watching you shine, I realized I can't imagine a world without you as my wife. Again. Forever this time. Marry me? The words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of history, and Hope's hand flew to her mouth, tears spilling hot and unchecked. Beth squealed. Yes, Mommy. Say yes, echoing the plea in Liam's eyes. Inside, Brooke burst through the doors, drawn by the hush that had fallen over the terrace crowd, Ridge hot on her heels. Oh, honey, Brooke gasped, clutching Ridge's arm, her voice thick with emotion. It's happening. Ridge's jaw tightened, pride warring with protectiveness. Spencer's got guts. Let's see if he means it. Hope's mind raced, fragments of their past colliding like waves on a shore. The joy of Beth's first cry, the agony of Thomas's manipulations, the quiet nights when Liam's arms had been her sanctuary. Carter stepped forward then, his face a mask of quiet dignity, but Hope held up a hand, her gaze never leaving Liam's. Liam. God, you've always known how to time it perfectly, haven't you? Right when I'm finally finding my footing. He rose slowly, box still open, desperation flickering in his eyes. That's not fair, Hope. This isn't timing, it's truth. Tell me you don't feel it too. She glanced at Beth, who gazed up with wide-eyed hope, then back at him, her resolve crumbling under the onslaught of love she'd tried to bury. I do feel it. Every day. But Carter, he's been my rock through the mess I made. Liam's shoulders sagged, but he pressed on, voice raw. Then let me be your future. We can build something unbreakable this time. For her. For us. The terrace fell silent. The partygoers clustered at the doors like spectators at a pivotal trial, whispers rippling through them. Steffi crossed her arms, murmuring to Finn, who joined the fray. This is peak Spencer drama. Think she'll say yes. Finn squeezed her hand, his doctor's calm a steadying force. If it's real, she will. Hearts don't lie. Brooke couldn't stay silent any longer, gliding forward with that maternal grace that had weathered Logan's through countless tempests. Hope, baby, listen to your heart. You've given it away too many times to men who didn't deserve it, but Liam? He's family. Flawed, yes, but fighting. Hope turned to her mother, eyes pleading for wisdom. Mom, what if it's just the high of the night? The applause, the lights, what if it fades by morning? Brooke cupped her daughter's face, thumbs brushing away tears. Then you face it together. That's marriage, sweetheart. Not perfection. Partnership. Rich grunted in agreement, his voice gruff. Logan's and Spencer's. We're built for the long haul. Don't let fear steal your shot. Carter, ever the gentleman, approached then, his hand extended in a gesture of release. Hope, if this is what you want, I'll step aside. Gracefully. You know where to find me. His words were a knife's twist, but he bore it with the poise of a man who'd lost before and risen. Hope pulled him into a brief hug, whispering, "Thank you, Carter, for everything." He nodded, backing away as the weight lifted, leaving space for what came next. With a shaky breath, Hope knelt to Beth's level, drawing her close. "What do you think, Angel? Should mommies say yes to Daddy?" Beth nodded vigorously, her small face alight. "Yes. We can all live together and have cake every day." Hope laughed through her tears, rising to face Liam, who watched with bated breath, the ring trembling in his grasp. "Okay," she said, the word a whisper that built to a crescendo. "Yes, Liam. Yes, I'll marry you." The cheer that erupted was deafening, the terrace alive with hugs and backslaps, Brooke enveloping them both in a fierce embrace, while Ridge pumped Liam's hand like a victorious prize winner. Steffi cracked a smile, pulling Hope into a quick squeeze. "Welcome back to the madhouse, Logan." Even Carter raised a glass from the sidelines, toasting silently to new beginnings. But as the celebration swirled on, Hope slipped the ring onto her finger, the diamond cool against her skin, and wondered at the path ahead. Liam drew her aside, his forehead resting against hers. "No regrets," he murmured, voice husky with relief. She shook her head, fingers intertwining with his. "Not tonight. But promise me, slow this time. No rushing the altar until we're solid." He kissed her then, soft and lingering, the taste of champagne, and forever on his lips. "Promise. We're in this for the sequels, Hope. All of them." Beth yawned, curling into Hope's side, and the family stood there under the stars, a tableau of mended fractures, as the city hummed its indifferent lullaby below. Inside, the party raged on, but out here, in this stolen pocket of peace, they dared to believe in happy endings, not flawless, but fiercely fought for. The days that followed blurred into a haze of headlines and hushed conferences, the fashion world abuzz with whispers of Hope's triumph and the proposal that had eclipsed it. At Forrester Creations, the boardroom took on a new energy, sketches flying across the table as Deke and Hope brainstormed the next collection, infused now with the optimism of second chances. That showstopper wasn't just a gown, Deke said one afternoon, pinning fabric to a mannequin with artistic fervor. It was a statement. "And now, with you glowing like this, we can push boundaries, sustainable silks with that Spencer sparkle." Hope grinned, adjusting a seam, her engagement ring catching the fluorescent light. "Careful, Deke. Liam might think you're poaching his lines." He laughed, the sound echoing off the walls lined with mood boards. "Hey, inspiration's free. But seriously, congrats. You two look right." She paused, needle in hand, the weight of his words settling like dust after a storm. "We are. Finally." Liam, meanwhile, threw himself into fatherhood with renewed zeal, mornings spent at Beth's school drop-offs, evenings crafting bedtime stories laced with lessons on perseverance. "And the princess didn't give up," he narrated one night, Beth's eyelids drooping as she snuggled under the covers adorned with tiny crowns. She built her castle brick by brick, with her knight right beside her. Hope lingered in the doorway, arms crossed, a soft ache in her chest at the sight. "You're good at this, you know," she said later, as they cleared the dishes, the kitchen warm with the scent of pasta and garlic bread. Liam dried a plate, his gaze thoughtful. Had to be. For her. For us. No more absentee dad awards. She bumped his hip playfully. Speaking of, Carter called today. Offered to handle the prenup. Pro bono, of course. Liam's jaw tightened, but he nodded. Guy's class personified. But this time no papers. Just vows. Hope set down the sponge, turning to him with earnest eyes. Vows we mean. Through the Logan's drama, the Forrester's feuds, all of it. Brooke, predictably, turned the engagement into a family affair, dragging Hope to a boutique for fittings amid gales of laughter and unsolicited advice. Ivory silk, sweetheart, timeless, like our love stories, she insisted, holding up a swatch against Hope's skin. And none of that minimalist nonsense. You deserve lace, beads, the works. Hope twirled before the mirror, the fabric whispering promises. Mom, slow down. We're thinking intimate. Beach at sunset. Just us and Beth. Brooke pouted theatrically. Intimate? With Spencers and Logans? It'll be a circus. Ridge, summoned for his opinion, chuckled from the couch. Let her have it simple, Brooke. Liam's already got Bill sniffing around for a splashy bash. Hope groaned. Don't remind me. Bill's Spencer, eternal wedding crasher. But beneath the banter, gratitude bloomed, for a mother who believed in redemption, a stepfather who guarded her fiercely. Challenges arose, as they always did in the glittering cage of Los Angeles high society. Thomas Forrester, exiled but never forgotten, sent a congratulatory bouquet laced with a note that read, "Happiness suits you, Hope." Truly. She crumpled it unread, but Liam found it, his temper flaring like dry tinder. That bastard still thinks he has a claim? He fumed, pacing the living room, fists clenched. Hope caught his arm, grounding him. He's history, Liam. Focus on our future. Steffi, overhearing during a rare visit, intervened with her signature bluntness. Thomas is a ghost, haunting but harmless now. Don't let him derail this. Liam exhaled, pulling Hope close. You're right. Just protective instincts. She kissed his cheek, whispering, Mine too. That's why it works. As weeks unfolded, the proposal's glow deepened into something tangible, a shared calendar of pediatrician visits and design deadlines, quiet dinners where they dissected the day's dramas over wine. One evening, as rain pattered against the windows, Beth asleep upstairs, Hope curled into Liam's side on the couch, a script of their lives yet unwritten. Remember Italy? She mused, tracing patterns on his shirt. That vineyard, the way the world felt infinite. He smiled, memories flooding back. How could I forget? You in that sundress, stealing my heart for the first time. She propped up on an elbow, eyes sparkling. Steal it back, then. Properly. Liam's laugh rumbled low. Challenge accepted. Their kiss ignited slowly, building to a fire that chased away doubts, reaffirming the yes that had changed everything. In the end, the showstopper moment wasn't just the gown or the lights. It was the kneel, the ring, the leap into uncertainty hand in hand. Hope Logan Spencer, once adrift in ambition's tide, found her anchor not in boardrooms or spotlights, but in the man who dared to ask again. And as the city slept beyond their window, they dreamed of tomorrows woven with laughter, tears, and the unyielding thread of love that refused to fray.